Yeah, Viktor versus Ahri will be our round one matchup, so this should be good. To be fair, we haven't seen too many Viktors in our recent tournaments, so I am excited for this matchup. It's interesting because I know Viktor usually more known for a rather kind of aggressive playstyle, and on the other side, Ahri more so known for her late game capabilities, things like those watchers coming in towards the end, things like those time warps to close things out. So I'm wondering, is Viktor a little bit too aggressive to get a bit under this Ahri, or can Ahri really control things with that Ahri legend ability?
Ones just add up and add up and add up, and those 4 tokens end up being essentially an 8 might unit, which can be really, really scary. Though, I will say, the Ahri leader kind of just says no to that, doesn't it?
Right. So we'll see. He's just going to be starting things off very simple, utilizing that Viktor ability, getting that 1 recruit token right off the get-go. Does Ahri have something as simple as those early game Poros or Raven Bloom, or was she a little bit not too lucky? And instead is even better, you order to draw 1 just a cantrip real quick. So both players getting rather an ideal start. And
Yes.
Thank you, Random. I saw that in chat real quick, but yeah.
Yeah, excellent. So Ahri does definitely want to see the early unit here. You probably want to start contesting this Trifarian war camp so that you can utilize that Ahri leader ability. Ahri, similar to Yi, it does prefer to be on the defense, as it does seem the calm spell lineup is a little bit more defensive than aggressive. But wow, kind of interesting for me here is that Mr. Mema is like immediately pushing aggressive onto the Dreaming Tree rather than the War Camp.
Yeah, and it looks like we got our answer why. He wanted to take advantage of the Dreaming Tree battlefield ability to draw 1 by stupefying his own recruit, triggering that ability. So nice little draw. Like you said, I agree. Usually you want to send it into the War Camp to get that additional might buff, but instead valuing the draw and summoning the Captain Vanguard onto the Dreaming Tree. He's trying to lock that down, but to be fair, man, all those recruit tokens on the War Camp would have felt slightly better, no, because that would have been +1 on 4 units, so that's +4 might on a whole battlefield, making it so much harder for Ahri to conquer that. But nonetheless, 4 units on Dreaming Tree, that's still going to be quite tough for this Ahri player. So let's see with 5 runes, what can this Ahri do now? Because it's still so early. She doesn't have things available to her just yet, like we're used to seeing her very late game. So she might keep it simple and send that Yor to War Camp just to get 1 point on the board. Let's see.
Yeah, and Viktor did play a hidden card on the tree. There really aren't that many options here for Viktor. There's like the Blast Cone Fade, there's like the Hidden Blade, and I believe Viktor plays Sunless play Consult the Past, so you can really narrow that down. I probably would expect probably not a Hidden Blade yet, as you really wouldn't want to be using that on things like this Lecturing Yordle. You'd probably want for something higher value, like the Alluring Ahri, for instance.
You know, keep in mind, in it, you can also Hidden Blade yourself, because we saw Mr. Midnite highly value the draw potential, so perhaps he's thinking about Hidden Blading one of the recruits, not only drawing 1 from that Hidden Blade, but also triggering that Dreaming Tree, so a whopping 3 draws from that potential Hidden Blade, if it is a Hidden Blade. We don't know for sure, but it looks like he's going to be summoning the Drummer onto the board, thinking about perhaps using that Viktor ability, or he has 1 room, might as well. So yes, does get 1 recruit on the board, but those go up to 2 points since that hold on the Dreaming Tree was done, and it looks like he's just passing it over to Ahri. So 2-2 so far. These guys are going neck and neck, but Viktor's board development looking a bit more favorable towards him.
Yeah, this is kind of what you'd expect from the Viktor, where the Viktor is pushing down a lot more units aggressively. Has ended up recycling a lot of runes. So something interesting from the deck lists is that the Viktor player, Mr. Mamite, is playing N order runes and only 2 mind runes, which, I mean, that I can see it. I can see it. Like most of the cards that are requiring you to recycle runes are order runes. You do have to pay order power. But that's interesting. I had not really seen a split like that so far. It's like usually like 7-5, 6-6, but 10-2.
Yeah, almost a mono yellow deck here coming out from Viktor, but I'm wondering, what is the blue? I would assume perhaps he has something like Sprite Mother to really take advantage or really need to use those blue, because if he wasn't running that much blue, might as well just go straight mono yellow. I remember early on in Riftbound when I first started playing, Viktor mono yellow was a little bit popping up here and there. It was pretty good because Grand Strategy and alone cost so much power, but it looks like a nice, I forget the name, but Mask of Foresight. Basically, Master Yi's ability, but on offense and defense. But of course, instead of the +2 is the +1. So Massive Foresight really strong on Ahri. Gonna be getting charmed, so it does trigger the recruit, but up to 5 because it goes from shield, and then the Ahri ability minus both of these down to 3 and 1. So 6-4. Favoring the Ahri player, so this is a good charm. This is a way influencedanger trying to get back control of the board state because you're taking out the back line, so not a bad play. But that Dreaming Tree looking like a big headache for Ahri nonetheless.
Yeah, that charm card is just incredibly powerful in both of the calm leaders, the Ahri and the Yi, as it acts as like pseudo removal, because you can pull an enemy unit from anywhere on the base or the other battlefield into your battlefield, and then it acts as if they are the attacker, so you get the bonus from the Ahri leader and the Yi leader, and then in this case also the Mask of Foresight. So it makes it very difficult, and you really got to play around that charm and make sure that you are not getting one of your best units removed for a simple 1 energy and 1 green power.
Yeah, and you make a good point because Viktor doesn't really have too much ways of getting things off in the very same turn, meaning like accelerated units. Of course, like the unit I mentioned, like Sprite Mother, might be one of the few ways. I really doubt a lot of Viktors are running Echo, which also has the ability to get accelerated off. So Viktor's playing turn by turn, so if Ahri's able to deal with that base, or the back line rather, then Viktor's having to wait an entire turn before they're able to deploy those units. So that might be a way that Ahri really tries to take advantage of Viktor. But of course, there's only 3 charms in the deck, unless she's running things like Blitzcrank. But ooh, aggressive Hidden Blade to play it directly onto that Sunlit Guardian. It's a +2 draw. Do you feel like that's worth it, NA?
Yeah, I don't hate it. As you said, this Viktor list is not really playing anything that can have immediate impact on the board. In regards to units, that is. So you kind of are forced to use your removal kind of proactively, as you will not accelerate your units fast enough. Not accelerate is the keyword. You will not get your units out and ready to combat fast enough otherwise. So by using this super fast, you can lock down this battlefield. And by the way, this battlefield is, the Trifarian War Camp is very hard to push into against Viktor because all of your tokens get incredibly big, as we mentioned. If you lock this down, then you've turned off the Ahri leader ability. You've made the charms worse because you're not getting pulled in. I mean, all in all, I like this push. I will say the scary thing here for Mr. Mamai is that if this battlefield gets broken, if Ahri can take it away, and Ahri does have 8 runes, like there's a lot to work with here, then things get scary because you're looking at only 4 runes left. We've exhausted we've recycled a lot of runes, and only 3 cards in hand as well. Whereas Danger has, oh my gosh, 7 cards in hand, 8 runes. Like, not really the situation I want to be in. But
yeah, quite the discrepancy in hand size, no doubt. But deciding to throw in the Yordle gets that +1 from the Massive Foresight, perhaps just trying to trade out those recruits for the Yordle, or even the Captain Vanguard, just to kind of minimize the total might on that board right now. So does trade with the Captain Vanguard. I'm wondering, he's trying to potentially just bait out that Hidden Blade or the hidden card. Is he saying trigger it now? Are you going to trigger it on yourself? But instead is Viktor aggressively wanting to gain points here, going directly to the Yordle, so holding down that Dreaming Tree for now, And now NA, there's no more units left on Ahri's board. I thought she had something like a Watcher to really make those Yordle attacks a little bit stronger, but instead it looks like a tasty Faith Folk accelerated nonetheless. So 7 might going into the 3. So finally Ahri does get on the board in terms of that Dreaming Tree. So up to 3 she goes. Not too bad, but Viktor kind of accelerating the game plan here. He's getting awfully close to game point, just 3 more points. And it looks like that war camp is looking strong for him. So let's see how he plays out this following turn.
Yeah, I'm a little bit worried here for Viktor, though, as the Faith Folk is a bit of a problem. It is a 7 might unit, going up to 8 with essentially 8 with the Ahri, the leader ability. And Ahri does have access, has not used a Defy yet, so we know that the Defies are still live. Hasn't used any disciplines yet, so there's a lot of stuff that can break this camp, and there's a lot of stuff that's not super expensive that can break this camp. And even though Ahri is behind in points, I mean, alluring Ahri is a silly card, right? Like you can just shoot the game, and if this Ahri is playing Time Warp, which I would expect they probably are, we could even see like Time Warp scams where you shove up the alluring Ahri. And we say, hey, it doesn't matter that you're 1 point from victory. I'm just skipping your turn and scoring 3 points here. And then the game's just over. So, I mean, it's not really a comfortable situation for me as Viktor. But it does look like a Thousand Tail Watcher is being dropped. So maybe an aggressive push could be seen right here.
Yeah, let's count up the total might. That's 2, 4, 5, 6 total might on the war camp. Being challenged in from the Watcher with a whopping 8 might. But the Blasco and Faye, you can't see, is kind of hidden up here. Blasco and Faye minus it by 2. So evening things out, that might have spelled doom for this Watcher and this Ahri player. Because now I believe they're going to trade. But this Evangel, a Machine Evangel, gonna get 3 recruit tokens for his troubles back on the base, so it's not quite 1 for 1. But as you mentioned, Ahri has yet to play any kind of on guards, any kind of disciplines. Of course, she just has 1 rune available, so it has to be an on guard right here, right now, or this trade might be a bit disastrous for Ahri. And I think going up to 6 is not a position you want to be against a Viktor, especially with cards like, or I mean, he has nothing on the base, so it's not too dangerous right now. But this is a big turning point. That Blasco Fae, as we saw here above, was huge for Viktor. Nice cheeky, because I don't see it too often on Viktors. It's usually the Hidden Blade, Consult the Past, but Fae is a nice tech card, I feel, and it's coming in wonderfully for Viktor. So well done. I think they're talking about it. They're like, wait a second, what can I do? Let's see. Yeah, I mean, so he either has it or he doesn't.
Yeah, that Blasco Fae is actually the only mind power costing card in the deck. So that would be the reason for the 2 mind runes. If for some reason he did decide to hard play the Blasco Fae from hand and did not decide to hide it. And well, there you go. You called it.
Yeah, there it is, on guard, bringing that Watcher's total might to 8, so 8 should be sufficient enough to get over the 6 might on the war camp currently. But to what we said before, that a Machine Evangel does spawn 3 recruit tokens to the base, and now, as I said before, we thought there wasn't anything on the base, but if that gets traded out, which most likely will get traded out right here, right now, that's going to be a whole lot of recruit tokens to work with, and you're going up to 7 runes. That's more than enough to get something like a grand Strategenov, getting +5 might on each of those recruit tokens. So a potentially 18 total worth of attack coming straight to the dome of Ahri. That definitely should be enough to take care of the Tasty Faithful. But Tasty Faithful doesn't mind dying more often than not, right?
Yeah, so it looks like it does end up trading, which definitely at Viktor's advantage here. I can't quite see the points. What are the point totals right now?
5 to 4.
Okay. So Ahri goes up to 9, and then okay. So there isn't really the concern of a time warp scam this game, but oh, okay, Stupefy right off the bat. Okay, so Marmite just really trying to draw here.
Yeah, just trying to
Oh,
see more options available to him. It is interesting.
yeah, when you use the Stupefy like that, that tells me that the hand is maybe not super good.
You're totally right. He probably doesn't have exactly what he wants to see. Of course, he could go ahead with a simple conquer on the war camp. Just get a +1 going up to 6 points. It was never a bad idea. But I think he's wondering, how am I possibly going to conquer this dreaming tree from Ahri? Because every unit I send in gets -1. So you always have to be conscious of that, of course. And these recruit units, even though they have friends, they're just not very powerful individually, so he definitely has to think about buffing them up one way or the other. So does decide to send one recruit, perhaps gonna send a stupefy number 2. That way you get a nice good draw 2. So if he was looking for cards he has, so +2 gets traded out. That's a decent move. Just trade out one recruit for those 2 cards. Did he draw what he liked? Because now he just has 5 runes available. So things like Grand Stratagem no longer online. So I think Ahri might be holding Dreaming Tree at least for this next turn.
Yeah, I feel like here he needs to see like a matron, or maybe even gel. I mean, you really have to have some value on the board, as the alluring art is so scary, and as we said before, there isn't really anything to accelerate on the Viktor deck. So what you see is what you get. What you see is what you get. And oh my gosh, okay, so deciding to go extremely wide, I guess this is a sign of why. Yeah, okay, wow,
All
oh
in.
my. Yeah, saying I am taking everything next turn, and there's nothing you can do about it.
that is right.
That is the whole belief.
Most likely, perhaps, maybe another Blast Cone Fae as we saw before, but I'm willing to bet that's most likely something like a Hidden Blade lurking in the hidden zone of that war camp. But Ahri does go up to 5 herself with that Tasty Folk holding the Dreaming Tree. Now let's see what she can do, because honestly, Ahri, thinking about the spells she has available to her, they can never truly reach the back line. Of course, the exceptions being things like Singularity, but Ahri has tend to not run those cards lately, so this is tough because Ahri, she wants to maybe push forward, but thinking about what the follow-up turn from Viktor is going to be, I mean, to be fair, he has no cards in hand, so he has to top deck something crazy. Like we mentioned, a Grand Stratagem might just be GG well played for Viktor, but that's if it's on the top of the deck. We haven't seen one yet. If he's running 2 or 3 of them, maybe, do you know if he's running? Because you have the deck list up. Is he running Grand Stratagem in the deck?
Yes, so there are 2 in the main deck and 1 in the side deck. There is a chance. I mean, we hadn't seen one yet. The other top end is a Harnessed Dragon, which I don't believe, so he's at 6, so he will actually have the runes to play if he does draw one, which would be a pretty good top deck, to be honest. Just knock something out of the battlefield. I will say that Mr. Midnite has gone through 2 of the Hidden Blades, so there's only 1 Hidden Blade remaining.
Okay.
And most of the units individually are not super big, so I would be a little bit wary if that is the last Hidden Blade. Removing the Tasty Faithful could be pretty difficult.
Problematic indeed. Let's see what Ahri has in mind. Tapping 5 runes so far. Perhaps getting off the Ahri legend right now, or champion rather. Looking like he toggled it, but does deploy it. I know he wishes he had a whole lot more runes to get something off like a Time Warp, but you can't get a 5 and a 10 cost cards off in the same turn, of course. So just gets the Ahri, thinking that she wants to hold it. But oh man, looking at that base from Viktor, is it truly possible? You're gonna have to go crazy with the combat tricks, and it looks like she's kind of using her runes now. So perhaps a Sunlit Guardian just gets that shield and tank, so perhaps thinking about protecting the champion with that tank. But oh, I mean, this is a good call because that's a lot of my NA. That's 10, 13. Keep in mind when you attack, or every friendly unit attacks alone. Oh no, alone, forgive me. So they don't get a +1 from this mass. But still, 13 might is a respectable amount of might to take over. So Viktor really had to hit off a great card. And hey, you didn't have to rely on just a single card. Gonna be going from the consult the past, drawing 2 more cards. So 3 cards to work with. Is one of these a grand stratagem? I think that might be one of the few cards that work, because to your point, a Horde Dragon maybe gets rid of the 6, leaving behind 7 total might. You can maybe overcome that. Captain Vanguard does 2, 2, 5, 6, 7. It would trade evenly if he sends everything in, so kind of dangerous to do, but it looks like he might be tapping everything he needs, and it is.
There it is. Oh my gosh, that's a crazy one. Right off the top.
Yeah, and he held one from the hold on War Camp. So this is for game, folks. Going into the Dreaming Tree, does he score the 8? There's only 1 rune for Ahri. I don't think he can do anything but an on guard, and that's just going to net him 1 more might. So I think Viktor might have closed things out with that on guard, with that Grand Stratagem talk deck. Well done to Viktor.
But essentially this says if you hold with 7 or more units, which of course Viktor loves spamming out all these little tokens, you just straight up win the game. So I could very well see Viktor saying, hey, I'm going all in on this battlefield. And then Ahri would actually have to contest that, where Ahri generally prefers to kind of stick to one battlefield, right? Because then you get your leader ability, then you can stack it up, you can drop the alluring Ahri and say, I'm winning the game here. But you don't really have that luxury against the Grand Plaza.
Yeah, to be fair, I have yet to see anyone win directly from the Grand Plaza. It sounds so much easier said than done, but it could happen right here, right now. I'm excited to see. But Poro getting that Ahri player up to 1, nice and early point. And Ahri doing what she does best, going to be trying to hold it down, hold Grove of the God Willow to even maximize the draws coming out from Ahri. Every hold nets you 1 draw every time, so that's what Ahri wants to do. That's most likely her game plan. Let's see how Viktor tries to spoil that game plan. He has the Poro with the assault, but might just elect to go nice into the Grand Plaza and get a point of his own, because it's still just turn 2 for him, so it doesn't have too much available to him. Perhaps thinking about spamming out a little bit, could get something off like a Captain Vanguard. If he plays something like another Poro and then a Captain, a 2 cost and a 3 cost could be an optimal turn 2 for Viktor.
Yeah, it does look like the Viktor is going for the Plaza, kind of as expected. I'm really interested in seeing how hard both of the players just say, okay, like, is Viktor just gonna full send it into the Plaza and say, you can't stop me? Like,
I'm right there with you. I thought he was about to full send the Captain Vanguard onto the Grand Plaza. That would be 6 total units, 1 more unit away. That would have been crazy, but it looks like he didn't have the Captain just yet. So Ahri gonna play out another Poro, gonna retreat the Sunlit Guardian just because there's no baseline units on Viktor's board. So prepping for perhaps an attack to try to take away the Grand Plaza from Viktor, but throwing it back over to Viktor. 6 total runes to work with. What can he get off now? He's thinking about, he's counting his runes. He's saying there's only a Poro with a total of 3 might. Is there anything he can do to take over that right now? Because I think even a Sprite Mother, if he's running it, it's only going to be going in with 2 might. So perhaps just thinking about developing his board at least for this turn.
yeah, it's definitely not feasible, at least as far as I can see, to try and, I guess you could go like, yeah, I don't really think it's feasible to set up the win on the next turn here, especially with Danger threatening to send in the Poro and the Guardian. So I think I agree with you. Just try and set up your board, be prepared for the next turn, where then perhaps you are able to then kind of start working towards that win condition. Like, we haven't seen the Viktor champion unit played this game yet, so okay, we're doing this again.
Yeah, this time doesn't net on the 2 draws though, unfortunately for Viktor. But yeah, you're so right. You know, even in game 1 we didn't see the Viktor champion as well, so being very, very selective with when he wants to deploy that Victor champion. Interesting enough, because you would think it's your champion unit. You would want to play it as soon as you can. Not as soon as you can, but the most you can pretty much. But keeping it simple, just really trying to maximize that Grand Plaza, going up to 4 units. But I don't think those 4 units are sticking around. But this is interesting. You rarely see Victor holding up runes. He's usually just trying to tap out, spam out, develop the board state. But he has 4 runes. That's something the Ahri player has to really think about. I'm thinking, of course, we saw 1 Stupefy, so 2 more in the deck. Maybe would you want to be crazy with a Hidden Blade, perhaps? I'm trying to think of what other cards those 4 runes can be. I guess we're going to be finding out very soon. Sunlit Guardian tries to attack, goes for 3 total, and it's a Shen! Huge!
Yeah, the Shen's pretty powerful here. Not only does it say, I'm going to try and win this combat, but it also puts a unit. It puts a unit into the battlefield. So the On Guard does end up making this a trade, but I think you're perfectly fine with that as long as you do get to keep your units. Though I will say the Poro gonna hurt here as well, particularly if it's backed up with like a Discipline or another On Guard. Though honestly, you don't really need to commit that much. You can just say, I'm gonna remove the tokens, you are not getting the 7, and then because I am Ahri, I'm just gonna win by points with my Alluring Ahri. As long as you do not hit your alternate win condition. Yeah, so throwing it down and saying, you have to stop me. You are not hitting 7, and I'm going to win by points.
Yeah, she's getting awfully close. So Victor throwing it back his way, getting 1 point on that Grand Plaza from the hold. So up to 3, tying things up on the Ahri. But yes, the Ahri Alluring is on the battlefield, on the grove where she wants to be. And there's 2 runes at the ready for the Ahri player, so can most likely defend it in case Victor wants to be aggressive if he's able to, but gonna be tapping. Ooh, that's a card. Is there a Defy though? Falling Comet triggering and triggering on the Ahri. So 5, is it 5 or 6 damage? I believe it was 5.
It is 6 damage, but you cannot actually defy that. As
over the 3, right?
4 actually. I thought it was 3 as well for my first week playing the game, and then nope, it Defy does hit 4 energy costs, which is crazy.
Of course. So yeah, undefiable. So he knew he was safe, but still gets at least 1 point for that hold. So up to 4 points for Ahri right now. Not looking in the worst position. She's right now winning on point tempo. Victor doesn't have anything in base to push forward the following turn, so if Ahri could keep deploying units onto this grove, she won't be looking too bad. But trying to push aggressively, deploying the Thousand-Tailed Watcher. Is that a Hidden Blade or a Blastcone Fae? I don't think Blastcone's enough, so let's see what the hidden card is.
Yeah, this is an interesting play. I'm not sure how much I like it with the hidden card, as again, the Hidden Blade does trade pretty well into this. That being said, I mean, Ahri does have like a good setup here with the Poro just chilling. Okay, wow, it just goes through. You were right, Blastcone Fae.
It was a Blastcone.
Yeah, it's a little bit worrying. Things are not looking good here for Victor once you lose everything.
Yeah, that indeed, and everything for sure. He only had 1 advantage, and that was the Grand Plaza. Nothing in the base, and look at his board, or look at his cards in hand rather. Only a single card, and on the opposite player, there's 2, 4, 6, 7 total cards. So Ahri, so many cards available to her, so many potential answers available to her. I think this game is highly favoring Ahri, at least for this game number 2. Let's see what Victor has in mind, has up his sleeve, but so far, not looking too good for him.
I do believe that the Victor actually does win this combat. I believe there should be 1 recruit left. So 2, so 5. Actually, no, they should trade, right?
Let's see. He had 2 recruits or just 1? Because Watcher goes down to 5. Everything had 1 because the Blastcone Flay was hidden. So it's 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 to 5. Yeah, I think these players were correct on their first run through. 5-5, but Watcher goes away as well. Wait, I thought it was 5-5.
Maybe there's just one recruit. They were kind of going off screen, so I guess that would be my guess, is that there's only one recruit there.
And that will be GG. It looks like Viktor got the memo. A little bit too strong of a start for Ahri and did not let go of the gas. So well done. Ahri going to be tying things up one game apiece going into a game 3 situation.
I will say that this is a scary moment here. The arena's greatest battlefield coming down for Viktor. Definitely a favorite of the aggro decks. It is going to give both of the players a victory point at the beginning of the game. So 7 points to win. I guess this is the moment of truth.
That is the moment of truth. Arena's Great is one of the best battlefields for aggressive decks like Viktor. So I think that alone slightly gives them an advantage for sure. Gonna be playing out the Yordle, getting a nice +1 draw. But now Viktor most likely gonna be going into the Targon's Peak. I sometimes don't like going to Targon's because then it forces the Ahri to go into there, and then giving that +2 runes to Ahri never feels good, but honestly you get 2 runes back yourself, so might be the most optimal play to do so. Get that 2 points online, making it so much closer. Now that you're 2, you just need 6. 6 is so much closer than what we usually. Of course, it's just 1 point, but 1 point makes a big difference, especially towards that end game. 4 runes available. Let's see what he does, because he does get that 1 point up on Targon's Peak.
Yeah, just slamming it down on Targon's Peak. So another nice thing about the Arena's Greatest as a battlefield for these aggressive decks is not only does it advance your win condition, right? It says you only need 7 points to win, but because it doesn't require you to be conquering or holding there, it lets you directly contest your opponent's battlefield, which ideally is something that's a little bit better for themselves, right? So in this case, you not only get the acceleration from Arena's Greatest, but you can say, hey, I'm also attacking your battlefield. You are not going to get these 2 runes for free. You're going to have to fight me for it.
Yeah, fight indeed, because it's 2-2. Unless she wants to go offensively with it on guard, that might be what it takes to get that Yordle over the Poro. So we'll see. It's still Viktor's turn, so stupefying himself just to see more draw. We saw the draw not really working out too well for Viktor that game too, finding himself with just a single card in hand at the very last turn there. So trying to prioritize a bit of draw even at the expense of doing it on a card like Poro. To be fair, it doesn't really make too much of a difference now because there's no attacking units, so I think that was a fair +1, and we'll try to hold down. I like this. I think this is how you play against an Ahri. Usually you want to play safe, deploy units onto your base, but I think against a legend like Ahri, you want to be aggressive and hold down the battlefields before she does. But oh, the Foxfire units with a total of 4 might or less will get killed. That's a big card. I'm wondering if that was a sideboard because we haven't seen it in game 1 or game 2. Really strong card against aggressive decks.
Yeah, that's a really powerful card, and we do, I can give you the hidden info here, is that the Foxfire is a side card. Not the most popular card for Ahri, but definitely really powerful versus these aggressive decks, right? As you do get to, when they go really wide, you just get to say, all right, I'm trading insanely up here. In this case, oh wow, okay. This is kind of cool. So we're just dropping the Shen and saying, I keep the battlefield. It doesn't matter. Does still lose the Poros, but I mean that lecturing Yordle is not going to out the Shen unless it is paired with an on guard or like a discipline.
Yeah, and even then it's just going to trade out because Shen has a good respectable shield too, so it goes up to 5 himself. And actually Yordle just has 2, so a discipline or on guard would only bring him up to 4. So Foxfire on the Shen, since it wasn't a defender, it only had 3. But wait a minute, I'm pretty sure Foxfire has to choose targets before the reaction, no?
Kill any number of units. So this is something that I am still trying to figure out entirely. I believe this should be targeting on activation. I want to say Do you want to maybe get the judge and make sure? But I believe it should be targeting on activation, so then it would kill both of the Poros and leave the Shen.
Exactly what I had in mind too, because you play it, you choose your targets, and then he's reacting with the Shen, so you can't just choose and change your targets in the middle. They're just in the middle of the combat. So let's see. I'll tell these guys to wait a little bit just to kind of play fair, because usually in a weekly I wouldn't mind too much, but this is a little bit higher stakes.
Yeah, get them to step back a little bit. They keep going.
Here, I'll let him know in chat just to be safe. And Soka, if you're in chat, or let me see if I could tag him.
Yeah. That is quite an important one here.
Yeah, and guys, we got a little bit of a judge call here just to make sure these guys are playing completely fair, just to keep it fair throughout the entire tournament for every single player competing today. We'll pause the time, keep it at 14 minutes for now. So these guys have 14 minutes remaining. I can't physically pause it, but we'll mentally pause it in our heads. Or if someone looks like Salka's on the call.
That's fine. I mean, we just wait, pause it, and we will grab the judge when we can. And so a little bit of context behind this for any viewer who is unsure. As the rules right now, very in flux. We even got a rule update yesterday. Generally, if cards affect units, and you generally do have to actually target your units when you play the card. And I kind of wish that they use they actually use the word target on the card. Like, I don't know. Again, I'm from a Yu-Gi-Oh background, so in Yu-Gi-Oh we have a thing called problem-solving card text, where cards have text that's formatted in a very specific way that essentially describes exactly how the card will play out. And in Yu-Gi-Oh, the cards that target always say target. So it's very nice because it makes judge calls very easy. You can say, hey, this card literally says target, it targets. Or this card doesn't say target, it does not target. But this will be a bit of a learning curve for everyone starting to play this game, as some cards just kind of implicitly target. And this, I believe, is going to be one of them.
Yeah, you're right. A little bit confusing. Perhaps it did get clarified, because I know the rules, the core rules of Riftbound, just received a patch note quite literally 2 days ago. So perhaps I'll read back, see if something like Foxfire got a bit of clarification. But either way, we have a judge on hand talking to both players so far. So let him know targets are chosen first. Most likely the only available options were the two Poros, and then Shen came down, so you're not able to decide and target Shen. So that's what judge. Shout out to Soka, shout out to Bluka. Those are the best guys on hand. Thank you guys so much. Thank you to those judges. Literally, it would be a total mess if I didn't have those guys, so appreciate them very much. And it looks like they're going through the motions here. And Steel Bro, okay, we're saying someone said it always worked that way, so no clarification here, which makes sense. It makes sense the first time I read it, so perhaps just influencedanger, not too familiar with Foxfire since it was on his sideboard, so just thinking about it. And Wolfman, what we're going down is he used Foxfire on both Poros, right? So as a reaction to the targeting of the Poros, he then did Shen. And then he changes targets from the Poro to the Shen, which you can't do because once the targets are selected, that's already on the chain. So Shen resolves first, and then it goes back to Foxfire, and it resolves on those two targets. All right, guys, we're all good to go. Shout out to Soka, shout out to Bluka. You guys are the best. Judge has resolved it, so resume the play. 14 minutes on the clock, so just about 3 more minutes, a little 3-minute intermission. Hopefully it wasn't too bad. Just want to make sure everything is played fairly for today's event and for any future event. So it looks like Shen does remain on the battlefield, and what Viktor decided to do now is just finally play out his Viktor champion onto the base. So if that Shen does go down, you at least get 1 recruit token in the backline for his troubles. Not too bad.
Yeah, it is I probably would have liked to see the player step back, but I guess this is fine. So they did end up, it does look like Midnite did end up playing out the rest of his turn in the same way, and then pass over to Danger here. And we did finally see the Viktor leader unit being played. This is the first time we've seen this played this match, right?
I believe so. All the way in game 3, finally decided to bring it out.
Hey, no time like the present, right?
Right.
I do find the Viktor leader is like a really powerful card. Being able to turn all of your non-token units into tokens is like that's so much value, right? Like, how do you deal with that if you are trading 1-for-1? You just can't trade 1-for-1 into Viktor when he's going so plus off of all the units dying.
Yeah, you're so right. And Ahri has a tough time dealing with units in the base of opponents. So if Viktor's going to play it smart and keep Viktor in the base as long as possible, he's just going to keep recurring those recruit tokens over and over again. Because Ahri good at dealing with boards with things like Watcher, with things like, I believe Watcher is the #1 way of doing it, but not so good at dealing with those base units. So yeah, I'm seeing here in the Discord, shout out one more time to Soka and Bluka. You guys are awesome. So gonna go off with the Yordle, just getting a draw 1, saying more options available to her. But I don't know if she's gonna be able to conquer the Shen. Viktor has no runes available, so if you do... Actually, no, Shen goes up to 5. So yeah, keeping it simple and going for Arena's Greatest instead.
Yeah, I guess the Ahri Alluring is still available. Do you have how much time is left in this game?
We have 11 minutes.
All right, so plenty of time. Plenty of time. Both players should be able to finish this game out, I imagine. The Shen is a little bit hard for Ahri to crack here. Ahri definitely preferring to be on the defense than the offense. And the Shen is such a beefy unit when on the defense, right? 5 with the shield 2, and Ahri generally doesn't play damaging spells. I mean, there was the Foxfire there, but that was a side card. Ahri generally not opting to play mind removal, such as like the Singularity or anything like that. So does have to go through that 5 damage the hard way.
Oh, and the falling comment one more time. Kind of an overkill, but a kill nonetheless. So gets 6 damage, but retreat gonna be played onto the Poro. Getting 1 channel exhausted, never a bad trade. Retreat, such a good card for no power cost. It's so good. So you get that Poro back. And now there's just 2 might to worry about. I mentioned that Viktor doesn't oftentimes want to go against the battlefield, but in this situation, you want to go aggressive because the later it gets, the more it tends to favor Ahri. So goes even a little bit more. I wonder why send the recruit token 2. Was he worried about it on guard? I think that actually no. I always tend to forget that legend ability. So 3 to 4. Yeah, he was playing. Actually, he was playing against the on guard in case it did go up to 4. So I can respect that. Does get another conquer. So up to 5. 3 more points away. Things are getting close, but I don't know if it was because of the judge card or not, but for an Arena's Greatest start, not as crazy fast fireworks as I was expecting, huh?
Yeah, and choosing to retreat the Shen here, so I guess setting up for next turn, make sure that the units are kind of out of danger's touch. You still do need to be aware of the charm. I guess one of the scary things about pulling the Shen back to the base is like shoving up a Poro and then shoving up and then playing out a charm, because at that point the Poro goes up to 3 and your Shen goes down to 2, which is pretty good trade there for danger. But I mean, has 10 runes, kind of get to do whatever you want here.
Right, and we've seen time and time again, she tends to go with things like Watcher, but it could be a little overkill to get it off now. Perhaps I have exactly what in the same play in mind. A Tasty Faithful, get that good, respectable 6 might off unit into Arena's Greatest. You do have to be careful. We saw Blastcone Fae, and instead it won't be a Fae. It's going to be drawing 2. The Consult the Past will be the hidden card on that. So still has to worry about the 6 might coming in. Viktor has no runes available for something like a Stupefy, so Ahri more likely going to be... Oh, it's a Defy, so no draw 2, sir. Going to be getting a point for Ahri up to 4. So is this perhaps a turning point? It almost feels that way. Ahri going up to 4, virtually tying things up against Viktor. things are looking good because, as we said time and time again, this is where Ahri wants to be. She wants to be holding these battlefields, and looking at the base of Viktor, a Shen and a 1 Might recruit token. Not feeling too hot, I will say, but the Fallen Comet does have something to say about that.
Yeah, I'm really not a fan of the position Midnite is in here. You have 2 cards in hand. Are going to have some runes to work with, but losing the Viktor is so much value. I think, did he even get any tokens out of it? I don't think so.
I don't think he did, right? Or maybe you got the 1, unless that was a legend ability the other turn.
Yeah, I believe it was the legend ability, but I could be misremembering. Not a great position, but I believe up to 6 points now.
That's right.
Or is it? Yeah, so has to take both battlefields on the next turn, and Danger has 12 runes. Yeah.
Maxed out, yeah. Pick your poison, anything available to you. Do you go for something like a Time Warp already? But nice, a card we haven't seen all set, Meditation. As an additional cost, you could exhaust one of these units just to net a good draw 2 instead. So 2 cost, draw 2, that's exactly what he wants to do. So exhaust the Poro for that additional cost. Ahri, so many cards to work with, plenty of runes to work with. This is hers to choose because she could even deploy another Tasty Faithful, send that 6 Might unit into Arena's Greatest, and then the defending 6 Might. We saw you needed a Fallen Comet, that big spell card, to get over it. That's 2 already used for Viktor. Does he have a third? It's extremely unlikely. Never impossible, but very unlikely indeed. So if she has something like that, it could be very, very beneficial for Ahri. Tap in the set. Oh, wait a second. Is that a Time Warp? I think it might be.
Yep. Okay. Interesting.
Oh, NA, I think, wait a second. Because you go from 5 to 6 on the hold here. If you have something like a Watcher, no, you just go to 7. Okay, I thought he could get game right now, but he's just 1 point shy. That would have been insane.
Well, you can if you have another Time Warp.
Uh-oh. Wait, did he have the runes for it? 2, 4, 6. Oh, it goes for the Ahri alluring onto Arena's Greatest. I don't think he had the runes for it, right?
Yeah. Well, no, if you're on 12, you should, right? Because you put back 4. So pay 10, put back 4. And that puts you at 8. And then you get 2 runes per turn, which puts you at 10 again. Mm-hmm. So maybe so that should tell us that there's not a Time Warp in the hand. I will say Midnite has to take both battlefields here or the game is over. And taking both battlefields will mean Midnite wins as well. So this is the last turn of the game right here.
Quite literally checkmate. So does he have, actually, wait, where did his cards go? I think he conceded. Oh, he said he did not have the cards available to him. If it was perhaps a grand stratagem, that alone wouldn't have even been enough. It brings the Shen up to 8, brings the recruit up to 6. That wouldn't have been enough to conquer both of these battlefields. So Viktor on the play with Arena's Greatest, but Ahri holding it down. Well done. That was a really good series for our round number 1.